For as long as I've been in the wine trade, winemakers have consistently said it takes a lot of beer to produce amazing wine. And because I don't want them to start slacking anytime soon, I'm going to be sitting down with some of my favorite winemakers and getting them all to take on DasBootiful Cape Winelands challenge. The challenge itself is all about chugging down a locally produced craft beer while still appreciating the world-class wine. Now let's find out who the quickest winemaker is. Welcome to another episode of DasBootiful Cape Winelands, where today I'm sitting with Nadia Langenecker from Waterkloof Wine Estate. Nadia, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
It's only a pleasure.
Very excited to get onto this wine, but before we get onto that, can you maybe just chat us through how the name Waterkloof came around and what makes Waterkloof so unique compared to the other producers in the region?
So Waterkloof, the name was given to the farm by the Dutch settlers, and they gave it to the farm because Waterkloof, water, ravine is the English translation, and the Dutch always followed the routes that the elephants took. And the elephants always took the easiest routes and also where there's water, and hence the name Waterkloof. Yes, but Waterkloof is a very special place because we go back to basics in the way that we farm. If you drive in here, you'll see horses working in the vineyard, you'll see Angora goats, we have an earthworm plantation, so it's really about going back to basics and working in harmony with nature.
Yeah, for sure, that's beautiful. It is a beautiful estate. I mean, driving up here, I was just like, how can you get tired of it? I'm sure you hear that all the time, how can you get tired of this view?
But you don't. You honestly don't get tired of this view. It's beautiful.
So Nadia, out of all the crazy occupations that exist out there, what is it about winemaking that drew you to the craft?
Winemaking, it's never the same. Every day is different. So you will arrive one day and you'll have clients coming, or I'll be filming with you, and during the harvest season, it's this mad rush, and you're in the vineyards. I spend a lot of my time in the vineyards, and then harvest comes to a wrap, and then it quiets down. So it's the whole time it's something different. And I love how winemaking brings nature and science together so nicely.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's a great industry to be in.
The one thing that we've heard consistently throughout the series so far is winemakers saying that winemaking happens out in the vineyards. Can you relate to this?
Definitely, definitely. It's like cooking.
You
can only really make good food if you're working with good produce.
Okay, there we go.
And it's the same with winemaking.
Yeah, no, I can imagine so.
Yeah.
So, Nadia, in your own opinion, when it comes to the winemaking process, what's the most important stage for you?
I'm going to reiterate the vineyard again. I'm spending a lot of time in the vineyard tasting the grapes. That is actually the key to good winemaking, is tasting. Tasting when to harvest the grapes, tasting when you're pressing for the reds as it's fermenting on the skins, when to bottle, or aging in barrel, whether your wine needs a little bit of air. So tasting. Same as cooking.
Yeah, for sure. Taste.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't want to taste my own cooking, but hey, it's just one of those things.
I'm sure your cooking is good.
So the varietal in focus today is Petite Verdot. Can you maybe just chat us through the general flavor profile of this varietal?
Petite Verdot is quite a concentrated varietal. You often get beautiful red berries, especially cassis on it, sometimes a bit of a pencil shape character to it. So it's often used in blends to give it quite nice structure. So it's a structured wine, big tannins, gutsy wine.
Okay, like it. I mean, that was going to be my next question, which you've just answered now, is you don't find it on its own very often, and you always find it being used in blends, specifically Bordeaux style blends. And I was going to ask you now, what is it that the varietal contributes to those blends? I mean, so then is it somewhat like similar to Cab, because it's just a small berry, it's got quite a thick skin, it's quite tannic, it adds nice structure to a wine. So I mean, isn't that supposed to be Cab?
No, Petite Verdot definitely gives you good structure, and often I think people struggle to ripen other varietals, and Petite Verdot gives you that sort of tannin structure that you want, and that length, and just fills out the palate quite nicely.
So I mean, the terroir here is quite unique because you guys are super close to the ocean, and it's quite windy. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we're sitting inside the cellar here today is because it's gusting away out there. Petit Verdot, it's a late ripener, isn't it? So I mean, this kind of terroir, I mean, are you guys getting sufficient sunlight to really ripen that varietal?
Well, the varietal, the one here at Waterkloof, is planted on decomposed granite soil, so quite a rocky terrain. It's ironically also on a cool slope, but it's getting that heat coming from the earth. And we also, we don't really have a lot of water, ironically the name's Waterkloof, but so we don't irrigate it, so once again the berries are quite small. And the wind blows here quite a lot, so the leaf coverage is also not excessive.
So, you know, the first time I was exposed to Waterkloof wines was actually at one of these old Stellenbosch wine festivals, when it was still done in the stadium. I mean, this is a good few years ago. And it was blistering hot. I think they used to have it like in the heat of summer, like the worst time to actually have it. Like you're going out for a stroke, heat stroke, you know. But anyways, I went out there and I was looking for, I mean, I'd done all the whites, I was looking for reds, but I mean, I didn't want to get onto cabs or Shirazes. And I came across the Cinsault that you guys produce, the seriously cool Cinsault. That's still to this day, you know, the bang for buck that you get from that wine, I don't think anybody can match it. It's by far one of the most impressive like wines at its price point that I believe is out in the market.
I appreciate that.
But I mean, let's not stray too far away from Petit Verdot. So I wanted to now ask you, throughout your journey of being a winemaker, I'm pretty certain your palate's been exposed to some incredible wines. To date, what's your favorite wine that you've ever tried?
I would say to date, I'm a very big Burgundy girl. So I would say a 2005 Ishnu.
Nice.
Pretty much what's been my favorite. You can always get me somewhere if you lure me with Pinot Noir.
so I mean, Pinot Noir varietal, not Pinot Noir, sorry, Burgundy varietals. Have you got any Burgundian grapes growing on the estate?
No, we don't. The winters are just not cool enough here for the varietals. Unfortunately.
But being a Burgundian then by heart, I'm pretty certain that when you're working with Bordeaux varietals, you bring in a nice elegance through these wines.
That's exactly what Burgundy is. Burgundy is just beautiful elegance. I also love Côte Rôtie, the elegance that you get from that. And I think it just shows you balance that you can achieve with wines.
So in your personal capacity, I'm sure you've got some secret wines stuck underneath your bed or whatnot, but what's the most prolific wine that you're currently holding on to?
I do have some nice Chablis Premier Crus. I worked in Chablis and I just love the minerality on Chablis. So I've got I think 2015 Forchon Premier Cru that I'm keeping for a special occasion. I recently we bought a new house, so I always open a nice wine when we buy a house. Well, it's not like we buy a house every year.
I mean, winemakers are rich and famous. You know?
Yes, for a big occasion, I open a nice wine. I had braces when I had that removed. I opened a nice champagne, so to give you an idea. So we opened a 2007 Chateau Petrus La Florette, which was incredible.
That sounds like it's a banging wine.
That was a banging wine. So that used to be my sort of main Cunane in the batch, but now I would say my Chablis are pretty much up there.
Okay, lekker. Well, Nadia, enough mumbo jumbo from us. How's about we put some liquid on lips?
Okay.
Okay, so Nadia, now that this wine is finally open, can you maybe just chat us through the production process that went into the making of it?
Yes, this Petit Verdot, we harvest all of our grapes by hand, pick everything into small picking crates, cool it down slightly overnight, and then for the 2018 vintage, we de-stemmed it. We sort through all the grapes by hand, and then it falls into a little tank, and we hoist it up. And it goes over our wooden fermenters and the berries fall in. We're actually quite pedantic with the sorting, so it's literally just the berries. And then this is quite a small volume, so throughout the fermentation process, we just do manual punch downs. We taste it every morning and then make a call of what we want to be doing, but most of the time it's just a soft punch down. It's naturally fermented, no added yeast to it. I don't really think it is necessary to add yeast to red varietals. And then we left it for about a month on the skins, ran it down and then bottled it after 2 years in barrel. It was mainly older barrels, second, third, fourth fill, but about 9% new barrels. We only use French oak, and then we take it out, we give it a basic filtration and put it to bottle.
Yeah.
So we stay very clean with our winemaking.
I like the fact that you say you keep it very clean, because this wine tastes so pure. I'm not going to lie, like, I mean, I know Petite Verdot to be quite black fruit orientated. And when you mentioned red earlier, I was like, okay, well, that'll be interesting. I'd love to. And literally, I'll put that to the notes. I don't know if you've literally like now infiltrated my brain and,
Probably.
but you know, the whole power suggestion thing. But I'm getting like nice ripe red apple on the nose. Actually, a little bit of spice, like a cinnamon kind of undertone.
There is a bit of a cinnamon coming through.
Damn, this wine is so fragrant. It's absolutely
Floral as
amazing.
well.
Yeah. This is some good stuff. And the one thing that I'm taking notes of here, I see that it's 13%, which is quite attractive. Is that going to play a role in this elegance and that nice purity of fruit that I'm picking up?
Definitely. So as mentioned before, we pick on taste, and the flavor profile that I was looking for was more sort of that lighter floral style, and I think you definitely do achieve that when you pick it slightly earlier.
Yeah.
But that's what the vintage gave us. We were able to pick it a little bit earlier, because when we decide when to pick reds, you also chew the skin of the berry to taste the phenolics. If you get that slight herbaceous aftertaste, like a bit of a waxiness, then you know it still needs to go a little bit. But we got over that waxiness at an earlier stage.
Yes, I'm seriously impressed with the amount of fruit that's coming from this wine.
Very concentrated.
It's incredible. So I mean, that's what's special for me, is that throughout this series is that I'm trying to find varietals that are quite uncommon to the palate out there. You know, I understand that people like to stick to what they know because they're trying to avoid disappointment. But the one thing that I can assure you is that you're not going to be disappointed if you get your hands on this Petite Verdot, because it's freaking delicious. But you know, Nadia, I think we need to cut a long story short here, because you know, for as long as I've been in the wine trade, winemakers have always just said one thing to me: Gareth, it takes a lot of beer to produce amazing wine, and because I want you to continue producing wines of this quality, I think it's time that you pay the piper and you take on DasBootiful Cape Winelands Challenge. This season's beer sponsorship is from the Kennel Brewery. Today's beer is the Ale Station, an IPA. Gold in color with tropical citrusy pine hop flavors and aromas, balanced with a subtle caramel malt character. Not your typical hop bomb, but beautifully bitter and crisp for those sunny days. So Nadia, you know the rules. Once this beer touches your lips, it's go time. It's all about chugging a locally produced craft beer in the quickest possible time. And these are the winemakers that have taken part to date. You can see Hagen sitting pretty over here right at the top. Rainer not so much over here at 47 seconds in. So I'd like to ask, I mean, how confident are you feeling? Where do you think you're going to fall in amongst these winemakers here
Probably
today?
number 12.
No, man, have some faith in yourself.
I don't have a good history of downing. I don't actually have a history of downing.
Oh, haven't you done anything?
No.
Only one.
No, I don't even drink wine.
Nearly caught on.
Maybe.
Okay, but Nadia, you can hold the beer in your hand.
Okay.
I've got the stopwatch over here. I'm going to count you down from 3.
Yes.
And let's see what you've got.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Doing an absolutely stellar job so far. You can do it, Nadia. You're actually looking strong. You're looking stronger than Reino so far. Hey, well done, Nadia.
Oh my God.
You beat Reino. You're at 43 seconds in. Massive congratulations. How was that for you? Would you totally take on the beer challenge again?
Never. Yo, it's filling, eh?
It's very filling. Okay, so Nadia, let's put down your time over here. $43.25. Massive congrats.
Thank you.
But
Oh, man.
But Nadia, I'd like to just say a massive thank you for letting us come and film in your cellar today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to take on the challenge. And keep up the amazing work. I think the wines that you're currently producing are absolutely world class. So thanks again for everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So folks, that was the incredibly delicious Petite Verdot, which is being produced at Waterkloof Wine Estate. If you'd like to get your hands on that incredible juice, just follow the links below. A quick reminder that my educational campaign is still a go. If you'd like to make a donation towards the cause, you can just scan the QR code over here. Keep in mind that if you make a donation throughout this 12-episode series, you stand a chance of winning 12 ridiculously amazing wines. So, before I love and leave you, I'd like to remind you all to be kind and drink good wine.
And beer.
Cheers, thanks again, Nadia.
Okay, cool.